Friends, this is Advocate Nidhi Singh, founder NRI Legal Services, with a very important member of my team, Nikita Kohli. Here today in this live session, we've received a lot of questions and we keep receiving, and we are here to answer those. And in this live sessions, we are also inviting questions from you regarding any of your problems in India. It could be legal, quasi-legal, or any information or clarification that you might need on a situation that you might have in India. We would be happy to answer all your questions. Just to tell you briefly about us, NRI Legal Services is a company which has been there for 20 odd years. It was founded in the year 2000, and we have actually restricted and focused and catered to exclusively non-resident Indians. So if I were to say that we are not just a law firm, that would be correct, because a lot of inquiries from non-resident Indians come, and a bulk of those, which Nikita handles herself, are non-legal inquiries. So we have the legal departments, we have non-legal departments, real estate division. So anything and everything that a person of Indian origin who might need when he is overseas, we handle all of them, and we are duty bound to deliver those services. So this is why we have a vast experience and in multi-jurisdictions all over India to cater to clients who might have their property related issues anywhere. Nikita, what are the kind of non-legal that we are doing currently? What you would call non-legal?
I would say, I would just like to wanted to just intervene here, as it is that starting from the title search of the property, whenever clients come to us, they want to locate their properties, they want to know the value of their properties, and the documents related to the property. They do not have the documents. So starting from the title search, ending to the repatriation. So it includes all of these things like transferring the property in the municipal corporations and in the revenue authorities, going for the partitions. There are partitions through courts as well as through revenue departments in case of agricultural lands.
That's correct. Yeah.
So these kind of things we deal with at NRI Legal Services. So coming to the queries, I would say we do get a lot of queries related to the I would say
almost all matters
basically. So we have got a few queries on our Facebook and Instagram handles. Yes. So I would like to just take it one by one.
So let's take these questions first. And then we'll keep noting whatever questions come, and then we can answer those. So I think we should start.
Yes. Yeah. The very first question which we have received on our Facebook page is that a house was purchased in India by two foreigners who hold OCI status.
Okay.
One party died and the other party named on the deeds survived. They both have Indian wills. Does the surviving party need to change the house deeds into solo name?
Yeah, I mean, does the surviving party need to change the house deeds in solo name? So the first rule of succession, as we know, is that a property cannot exist in the name of the deceased. So once a person has died, it definitely needs to change into the next of kin, which could be the legal heir, which could be a person he has willed the property to. Anybody who can claim an interest in the property on the basis of a document or on the basis of natural succession, the property must be transferred to that person, whether it is solo name or two names. It all depends on the wills. Now this person has said there is an Indian will. So I can only assume that the Indian wills that they have mentioned means that the property must have been willed to the other party. And if be so, and if the Indian wills are not challenged, then they can very well go ahead and transfer the property. And here, Nikita, we need to explain a little more the confusion that we keep facing.
We keep facing actually a lot of times. There is one major question that we receive from a lot of our clients and potentials basically. When they come up with wills which are registered, they just think that that is enough to prove it in the law, court of law.
Right.
So that's what they come up with, and a lot of times they come up to us कि will ta registered हैगी है, उनका proof भी हो जाएगी. So that's how they come up to us. But then that is a very big misconception. So in that scenario, we always make them understand that registrar authorities,
Yes.
they can be called in the court, but they cannot testify to the contents of the will. They can just they can just testify to the existence of the will.
Correct.
So wherein the question of witnesses come.
And attesting witnesses has to be present. So what the very important thing about succession and wills is that, and we get a lot of inquiries about this, that once you have the will, the process can be smooth if no one challenges it. But if someone challenges your will as a claimant or a rightful recipient or a legal heir, then just because the will has been registered with the registrar is not enough to prove its validity in the court of law. You would need the attesting witness. He could be anywhere. So this is one of the another thing that people do is they get the witnesses attested overseas. So one tip we should give them, that once you have a witness on your will overseas, make sure that he's able to travel, he's loyal, he's young, so that he can travel to the court of law and actually be the attesting witness and testify in the court. So succession regarding wills is something that everybody needs to understand. Simply having a will or simply getting it registered is not enough if in the case it is challenged. Yeah.
So I hope the question which was asked by this person is he's properly clarified on the query. The next question, ma'am, is upon the gift deed. So basically ये पूछ रहे हैं कि गिफ्ट डीड जो है वो सिर्फ ब्लड रिलेशन में ही बनती है और नॉन ब्लड में भी बन सकती है.
सो गिफ्ट डीड और सेल डीड दो इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स होते हैं जिसके बेस पे आप अपनी प्रॉपर्टी को ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं. आप अपने जीते जी, मतलब if you're alive and you want to transfer your property, then you can do it through a gift deed and through a sale deed. So the basic difference in the gift deed and the sale deed is that gift deed you do not need any consideration. That means exchange of money doesn't have to be there. Sale deed में आपको show करना पड़ता है. You have to show कि हमने पैसे भी दिए हैं इसको. So gift बिल्कुल किसी को भी दी जा सकती है. You can give it to your blood relations. You can gift it to your daughter, son, only your daughter, only your son, or to multiple parties. Absolutely, the owner of the property has the right to decide what he wants to do. However, the most important thing that is important in a gift deed is that if it is going to a non-blood relation, then sometimes the registrar wants to know कि भाई आप ये तीसरे आदमी को गिफ्ट क्यों दे रहे हो, क्योंकि कहीं कोई फ्रॉड तो नहीं है, कहीं कोई गड़बड़ तो नहीं है. पर अगर उनको लगता है कि नहीं ये जेन्युइन गिफ्ट है और पूरी मर्जी से दिया जा रहा है. यहाँ निकिता मुझे याद है, डू रिमेम्बर दैट वी हैड अ गोवा मैटर ऑन विमेन ट्रांसफरिंग. हमें कितनी प्रॉब्लम्स आई थी. उसमें क्या था कि विडो का रूल आया था, और रूल है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा था कि अगर एक विडो लेडी अपनी प्रॉपर्टी ट्रांसफर कर रही है, चाहे वो अपने बेटे को भी कर रही है, अपने ब्लड रिलेशन को भी कर रही है, तो भी डीसी जो है उस एरिया का वो वेरीफाई करेगा कि ये विडो को जबरदस्ती आई होप शी इज नॉट बीइंग कोर्स्ड, आई होप शी इज नॉट बीइंग प्रेशराइज्ड, और उसको कोई मारा नहीं जा रहा, धमकाया नहीं जा रहा, ये प्रॉपर्टी जीते जी उसके क्यों ली जा रही है. सो गवर्नमेंट I think is doing a lot to protect that these gift deeds are they are legal, they are valid, and they are not under any coercion. But otherwise, as a law, in principle, gift deed can be done to
the non-blood also.
Non-blood.
और इसमें मैम एक बड़ा important point है about the registration costs and stamp duties also, जो हम लोग कुछ दिन पहले डिस्कस भी कर रहे थे regarding कि इसके अंदर जो stamp duty है और जो registration cost है वो दोनों में लगती है. वो आप वेरिएट नहीं कर सकते. But then obviously that again matters from state to state. कुछ percentages है, for every state there is a separate percentage कि कितनी percentage लगेगी, और वो percentage भी आपकी सर्कल रेट पे लगती है, गवर्नमेंट वैल्यू पे जो लगती है. एक बहुत बड़ा मिसकंसेप्शन वहां भी रहता है कि मार्केट वैल्यू पे लगेगा या गवर्नमेंट वैल्यू पे लगेगा.
बड़ी इंक्वायरीज आती हैं इस बात पे भी कि भाई ये जो हमारे को कितनी ड्यूटी देनी पड़ेगी, मार्केट रेट तो बहुत ज्यादा है. देन एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ता है कि नहीं, सर्कल रेट है जो गवर्नमेंट का फिक्स्ड रेट है, बस उसी पे स्टैम्प ड्यूटी लगती है. एंड आई थिंक द बिगेस्ट चैलेंज वी फेस इज दैट एवरी स्टेट has a different calculation of the stamp duty. So that's a very valid point Nikita has made, that if both in gift deed and sale deed, you cannot avoid the stamp duty. Yeah.
Also, ma'am, we've got another query on the page only, on the live. This is by Ms. Sharmila Patel. She says that is it true that all NRIs cannot or will not be able to sell, buy or transfer their agricultural land, farms? If so, effective when?
Okay, this is a very big rumor, and this is particularly come to me before this question also, and this is from Canada, and I'm sure when we check it will be from Canada, but Canada में ये एक rumor बहुत फैल गया है, and that बहुत जल्दी government is going to come up with some regulations where NRIs who have left their properties behind in India, they'll not be able to sell, or they'll not be able to dispose of their properties, or they'll not be able to buy. ऐसे कुछ laws आ रहे हैं. That's some laws are being passed by the government. Time and again these rumors keep floating, and these are absolutely baseless. There's no such thing. Please understand that the laws of India are controlled by our constitution, enshrined in the constitution, and there'll be a lot of steps before a law is changed. No such thing absolutely is possible, that just because you're no longer staying in India, or if you become an NRI, or if you've taken in another country's passport, that your properties, your estate in India will be affected. On the contrary, Nikita, हम जो देख रहे हैं कि people, our government is actually being very
proactively, they're taking measures to help them.
Help them. So this is absolutely baseless rumors. There is no such thing. All NRIs will be able to hold, protect, dispose, buy, transfer, sell, whatever they want to do. Just like an Indian resident, they'll be able to do that regarding their property. So it's baseless.
So yeah. Yes. So the next question I would be taking up from the Instagram handle we received, that the person is a US citizen, and she says that my father-in-law passed away 8 years ago, and my husband's brother is managing all his property. So basically this is a kind of dispute between two brothers, basically. That's what sounds like that. Her question is that how can they transfer the share of her husband in his own name without going in person, or can they do so? Because the brother-in-law keeps on telling them कि property tax आपको पड़ेगा, और ये सब चीज़ों पे misguide the brother-in-law is doing that.
So this is a very common scenario, and I think every NRI would be affected, that they would be misled by their own relatives because of vested interest. Please understand, our constitution guarantees right to property, and once a property owner, or even if the property has come to you by inheritance, it will be your property. Nobody can take that away from you. So your brother is only trying to scare you, and this is what is a common scenario, that आप बाहर रहते हैं, and a lot of people feel that if we tell them it's very difficult, they might just leave the properties to them. But now people are getting aware, it's nothing like that. So even if he's not giving you the papers, it doesn't matter. One of our focus services, if you go on the website and see our services, is actually retrieving these documents through title search services, which is a #1 service, and almost all our clients need it. उसका reason ये है कि कईयों के पास papers होते भी हैं, but they're not updated. So as it is, they need the title search service. So, and those who don't have or are victim to such selfish relatives, for them, please contact us or any other lawyer or any other firm or any other company who does title search services. Those papers can be retrieved from the government records, and then all of that transfer and everything can be done. That's one. Second, जो है, because you were telling me now that the rules change, that most of them we are able to do with a power of attorney, and
we can do it on the basis of power of attorney. But there are very few states in India which asks for at least one of the surviving legal heir to at least come in person and do the needful.
ये भी होता है.
कई states में ये है, but then majorly we do it on the basis of power of attorney, and power of attorney can be present on the behalf of the applicant. जो भी legal heirs हैं, वो power of attorney दे के, trusted person को power of attorney दे के, they can get the transfer done in their own names. So that is pretty much covered.
Yeah, and plus one more point is that again for even the transfer, for even there can be a stamp duty involved even in that kind of transfer. Registration Act में हाँ normally जब death case में inheritance case में नहीं लगती. So a lot of people get confused. Once you have inherited after the death of a person, say your mother's property or your father's property, in that case there is no stamp duty. The earlier question on gift deed and sale deed is only when you're alive you're transferring. So in this case mostly stamp duty is not applicable.
Here ma'am, I would like to just add on one thing related to one particular jurisdiction. If we just, let's take an example of one jurisdiction I've been dealing with. Let's say example of Delhi.
Okay.
So Delhi mein what we kind of face is that there basically, as ma'am told, there are two types of transfers basically, in case of death and in case the person is alive.
Yeah.
So जब alive हैं तो documents हमारे होते हैं gift deed, transfer deed, relinquishment deed. So these kind of documents are there. When the person is deceased, then in that case, when the property is going in the name of all the legal heirs, then there is deed of declaration, जो कि हम दिल्ली में execute कराते हैं before the concerned sub registrar जहाँ पे property situated है according to the location of the property. So उसमें भी we need a few documents which needs to be considered, which are very important, and we always keep on telling our clients at least these documents should be kept in your possession. For example, the title documents of the property and the ID proofs of all the legal heirs, and documents such as showing the relationship between the deceased and the legal heirs.
Very important.
Which has come into picture for the past few years about this major requirement which has come is of SMC. Surviving member certificate, which of course there was a recent client of ours who
this is in Delhi, no?
This is in Delhi.
Yeah.
So surviving member certificate, we get it from the revenue department, and of course for that we have to prove the relationship with the deceased person. So if you are a children, then you can show your birth certificate showing the relationship with your father, and then if you are the wife or the husband, then the marriage certificate works as the relationship proof. So these are certain documents which are required.
Yeah, and Nikita, transfer, we should also tell them this, that transfer is a non-legal or I would say quasi-legal job, and lawyers don't do it. Uska reason ye hai that this transfer is not done in courts unless there is a dispute and you need a court decree for declaring yourself to be a owner. I mean, if it's a declaratory suit and there's a dispute going on, who's the owner, then the courts come into the picture. Normal transfers may, you don't need the court. So it is a quasi non-legal task performed in various departments and where the property lies. Now, number one, if there's a land, then it is all revenue department, agricultural lands. Then there are within the city, there could be plots that could be under the municipal corporation. Then there could be flats which could be under any other, like in Delhi there is DDA, which is very big, Delhi Development Authority. Then in Punjab there is PUDA, Punjab Urban Development Authority. Then in Haryana there is Huda, and Haryana Huda has a different set of rules, PUDA has a different set of rules, DDA has a different set of rules. When we go down to southern states, the procedures are completely different. Like she's saying, Delhi mein abhi bata rahe ho aap,
Delhi mein these are the documents, and then general transfer procedure may be ऊपर से it could be a little similar, but वही जैसे मैम बता रहे हैं कि documents जो रहेंगे that becomes a little different. Let's say for example in southern states like Bangalore, Mumbai, Tamil Nadu, Chennai, legal heirship certificate is very important because we get a lot of times these situations of obtaining the legal heir certificate.
So West Bengal, Maharashtra, Bangalore, Chennai, मतलब Tamil Nadu, इसमें आपको legal heirship certificate. So what we need to make people understand that wherever your property is situated, एक lawyer को दे दिया उससे काम नहीं होएगा. You need to find somebody who is an expert to get this work done out of court. That is why we say that we do both out of court and in court work. उसका reason ये है कि we are servicing non-resident Indians. We are servicing all people who do not live in India. So if we just say, oh no, we are lawyers and we are in the district court, high court, supreme court, that is not going to suffice to their need. So as a corporate, we have to take on the entire work, and transfer is a bulk of our services. and dealing with different jurisdictions is pretty much a challenge, and somebody who should have full knowledge and should be able to guide you correctly so that the matters are not delayed. मोस्टली क्या होता है ना निकिता, वो जो हम बोलते हैं कि लॉयर्स से लोग काम कराना चाहते हैं ट्रांसफर का, सोचते हैं कि लॉयर सबसे सही करेंगे, but it is in my experience of 20 years and yours in about 6 years 7 years, most of the work is not done by lawyers in this case. In fact, lawyers तो courts के बाहर जाते नहीं है,
situation आती ही है, that becomes a problem for us also.
And also a general observation I will do, I am a lawyer myself, that a lawyer in a particular court restricts himself. He does not have the bandwidth to step outside the court, and it's pretty understandable. So if he's in a district court, he'll be doing all the works regarding that, or high court or supreme court, whereas these bodies where transfers take place, where retrieving of documents have to be done, are completely different. So whatever your inquiry is or your need is, you should know the right approach so that your work can be done comfortably. Right?
We've got this concern by somebody on this thing about the witness only, as we've just rightly mentioned about the witness. She's concerned, like she's just pointed out, Miss Srija Maikar. What if the witness is deceased?
So if your will is challenged, and then if the witness is not there to testify in court, then it can be a big problem for you. However, the contents of the will can be read. What is the chances that the will looks genuine, registered हुई है, and there is not much ये नहीं है कि third fourth person को दे दी है. It all then depends on the judge, but the
procedure very weak to prove such kind of wills. Srija, I think this was your concern. So in that scenario, generally clients go on the basis of natural succession, because वो हमेशा हमारे पास alternative है to go on the basis of natural
succession. हो जाती है wills.
So वहाँ prove करना it becomes a little
difficult.
Tough.
Yeah.
So yes.
Sorry about that, Srija. Yeah.
So ma'am, there's another question I'd like to take up, that are the rules to sell property in India same for NRI and POA holders? And can the property lawyer also help in finding a buyer for the house? It's a question we got on the Facebook.
Okay, so as far as the rules are concerned and laws are concerned, India has its set of laws. You could be a resident, you could be an NRI. You will have to just prove whether you come in person or you are represented through a valid power of attorney. That is the only difference. But अगर आप कहोगे कि the courts are going to change any rules for you, no. Are the departments going to change any rules for you just because you are an NRI? There is no such thing. All you have to be fairly and squarely represented, whether you are represented in person or whether you are represented through a power of attorney holder. That is one. Can a property lawyer, okay, so this term of property lawyer means those lawyers who fight property cases. Normally they do not find buyers of the house, not as far as I know, but however, because we are dealing with non-resident Indians, anybody who is dealing in a real estate and has a real estate division, who do buying and selling, which is absolutely a separate division, has nothing to do with law as such. वो एक real estate division है which is managed professionally by real estate experts. Those are the people who will help you buy this thing. But if you go to a general lawyer who is only a practicing lawyer, he probably won't be able to find. You have to find out whether the company or whether the professional whom you're hiring to find a buyer does engage in real estate transactions. Then it makes sense. Otherwise, just a property lawyer doesn't make sense. Correct? In this way also, and the credibility of the buyer, of course, who is going to take the guarantee of the credibility of the buyer? So that's why it is always recommended to go for professionals when you're looking for a buyer and looking to sell your property. Yeah, especially you're not there to check the credibility, then you should go with a name which you can trust, because after all it is your property and you should not be taking that lightly. Correct. Nikita, thank you. That is important. Yeah, we've got a question from Sophie Miller. It's about the pension. The question is about the pension, that are Indian service pensioners that are NRIs now losing their Indian pensions if they are collecting old age pensions in their respective country? Yes. So this is a very this is a fear question that our Indian service pensioners that are NRIs now losing their Indian pensions if they are collecting old age pensions in the countries where they have migrated to. So there's no such thing. Please understand that if you have worked in the in any government or semi-government department or under any authority in India where there is a pension that is coming to you because of the services you rendered in India, and after your retirement because of your family or other reasons you have migrated to another country, you've picked up another passport also for residential status, nothing, absolutely nothing is going to happen on to your Indian pension. You can take all the benefits that you are eligible for in the foreign country, whereas you will still be getting your pensions in your pension account. There is no need to be fearful of that. Your pension is not affected by any additional pension that you might now have because of your migration to another country. आपकी इंडियन पेंशन को कुछ नहीं होगा, वो बिल्कुल वैसे ही रहेगी चाहे आप किसी भी कंट्री में अब लोकेटेड हो और आपको कोई और कंट्री कितने भी बेनिफिट्स दे दे, आपकी इंडियन पेंशन जिसके लिए आपने सारी ज़िंदगी काम किया है वो बिल्कुल वैसे का वैसा ही रहेगा.
I hope your question is your answer is basically clear to you, Sophie. And ma'am, there's another Instagram question I would be like to just take up. It's regarding that one second. The person is an NRI and the person had purchased a flat and the builder has failed to give possession on time. I have to put a claim in the court. What all documents I should possess with me to ensure favorable decision?
So when you say court, this is your Nikita is an expert in consumer court matters, and we get a lot of inquiries on that. So in case you are facing a problem with your investment in a real estate company and the builder is not providing you with the possession in time, then you can file your application in the consumer court as a distressed consumer. And Nikita, you will be able to tell.
The list is very exhaustive though, but then I'll quickly just point out a few things. The very first important document is the allotment letter. Then comes the apartment buyer's agreement, which is an agreement between you and the builder. Then there is tripartite agreement, which is another type of agreement in which the banks are involved. Just in case the buyer has taken loan from the bank, then three parties are involved. Then payment proofs. It could be in the form of receipts, bank transfers, or copies of the checks or the ledger accounts issued by the developer in your favor. Then correspondences, which is very important because a lot of times we need it to cover up the limitation also, that you should be in constant communication with the developer through emails or letters, exchange letters between you and the developer. So those are some kind of documents, brochures, and of course site plans. These are very other kind of documents which are required. So basic documents I've just mentioned. And coming to the other concern is that a very important thing we always keep on telling the client, that always ensure the present status. Of course, we also tell them whenever the clients are being engaged, we also go to the property, go to the locations and look after the properties, how much they are built and what is the present status of the builder.
Keep in touch
with the builder.
Keep in touch and take a track of his performance. All of a sudden, don't wake up after 3 years, 4 years कि वहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं बना. So जब भी आप कभी, if you are investing in India, make sure you are completely in the loop of what is happening on that site through your relatives. किसी को भेज दो, देख लो कितना बन चुका है, कुछ हो रहा है एक्टिविटी कि नहीं हो रहा. उससे क्या है that if there is a fraud, you can take early remedial action rather than waiting for it and then not getting anything in return and being very late. Yeah, that's what you were saying, right? Yeah.
Ma'am, next question. There's a question that my maternal uncle had moved abroad 25 years ago, leaving behind his land in Mansa. The records available with him are old, and from them the total land which he owns is not clear. How will the estimation of size of his share be calculated?
Yeah, so इससे पहले हम इसको consumer court I have seen is a lot of bulk of queries come. I have personally also faced these questions that कई लोग कहते हैं कि consumer forum में कितना time लगता है. So it's normally consumer courts are faster than normal courts. So it's not as if it's the same as civil courts. That's one. Then there are different, this thing of the consumer. There is a district commission, then there is a state commission, then there is a national commission. So pertaining to the what is the pecuniary jurisdiction, कितने पैसे कितने Consumer Protection Act में amendments आई हैं?
There has been a lot of things. Just briefly, I'll just tell you. Earlier, what used to happen is that this was the Consumer Protection Act of 1986, which is not right now prevalent. Because that has been replaced by the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. So a lot of amendments came. So by that, but the only major amendment which I would like to just point out here, that the Consumer Protection Act is a 3-tier quasi-judicial mechanism, which includes, of course, as you've rightly just mentioned, that District Commission, State Commission and National Commission. So in the year 2021, recently after the Act of 2019, the pecuniary jurisdiction has come down to, in cases of District Commission, it is up to 50 lakhs and beyond 50 lakhs up to 2 crores, it is State Commission. And beyond 2 crores, it goes to the claim goes to the National Commission. So they have just lowered down the pecuniary jurisdiction because there was a lot of burden upon the district commissions by the pecuniary jurisdiction, which was mentioned in the Act of 2019. So that's why this revised pecuniary jurisdiction. So
basically, depending on how much you're claiming based on your investment, it will be decided whether your case should lie in a district, in a state or in a national, and accordingly it will be filed there. So this is all about consumer courts, and it is one of a very, very good way, and government and the consumer courts have done a lot to help, है ना, उन्होंने बहुत help की है in people recovering their money, people getting a lot of interest. I mean, we personally have had 100% success in the cases that we have taken, and it gives me great joy that those people have come to us to say thanks. And not just that, they've said that if that money which they had invested in India, other than the fact that some of them couldn't get their home, they wanted to be in India, and it took so much time, which is very sad. It took them a lot of time. They couldn't get a home in India. बूढ़े हो गए उस चक्कर में, और पर वो घर नहीं मिला इंडिया में. वो एक बहुत सैड बात है. बट जहाँ तक उनके पैसे का जो सेकंड इशू है, वो भी बहुत ज़रूरी है कि क्या उनका पैसा लूज हुआ है. तो so many people निकिता have come to us कि हमें along with interest पैसा मिला है, and if they had parked that much money in, let's say, UK or Canada, they wouldn't have been able to make so much money. So monetarily they have been really helped, though yes, their dreams of owning a house sometimes have gone haywire because of these fraudulent this thing, but law is trying to do its best to at least safeguard the client's interest, the monetary interests.
Also, we have been able to, like you've just mentioned, that we have been able to get a lot of settlements done, because of course litigation is a little prolonged process, but then we have been able to get the parties on the table, of course the builders, and we have gotten them into settlements and gotten back their money to them. So along with interest, of course. So
I just want to say here, because I can see my team at the back is going to get restless and they're asking us to hurry up. But it is not important how many questions we are going to be taking up this time. I am going to be one person or myself coming regularly once a month in this live session, and I will be taking up all questions. To us it is important कि हम जिस टॉपिक के बारे में भी बात कर रहे हैं या हम जो भी आपको बता रहे हैं वो हम आपको thoroughly बताएं. We should be comprehensively making you understand on that particular subject rather than rushing through questions in a half-baked way. So please, if any of your questions are going unanswered on this session, please, we will take it up on a priority in our next session. And meanwhile, let's just start and continue on the rest of this quickly.
So the next question what we have received is upon my sister. This was, sorry, the question was missed. I'll just repeat the question. My maternal uncle had moved abroad 25 years ago, leaving behind his land in Mansa. The records available with him are old, and from them the total land which he owns is not clear. how will the estimation of size of his share be calculated?
Okay, so this is one of our primary services, which is title search service. It's it is a service without which we cannot even go on to the next level, and the reason is that most of our clients have not come to India or are not in touch with their properties, and those who have inherited are the second generation or the third generation of people, have no clue what is happening with their properties, and the documents, either they don't have it, or if they have it, they're very sketchy, they're very old, they're very outdated, and they wouldn't know what is the valuation, what are they looking for. So many people come to us कि जी इसकी value कितनी होगी, what should I be even making an investment? We don't know anything about India. So more and more people used to initially come, they had no clue about India. So our first was, how would we also know? So to give them any service, we had to see their title. And for that, we have a separate division. Again, it's a non-legal thing. We have title search experts who actually retrieve, now from wherever your property is located, in whatever department authority it is under, we visit that, and we retrieve those documents, and we then put it all together. Our legal teams are very good. They put in all the reports together for you in a clear, concise manner with the documents, and we also get the documents translated.
Yes, we prepare a comprehensive report which is inclusive of the certified documents. If the person is not possessing any documents, basically we get the current records. Then if the documents is in the vernacular language, then we get it translated, and along with that, translations are also provided to the clients. And then government value, market value of the property, the current possession is also confirmed, that in whose possession the property is right now, and accordingly we just recommend them what measures can be taken if they want to get back their properties in case there is any dispute. So all these things are being covered in the title search report or land search report, which we prepare for the clients.
And these reports also are very, very easy for you to understand, क्योंकि papers जो होते हैं, they are technical, and a lot of people don't understand Indian authorities papers. So in plain English, everything is written. Even the papers, as she said, are translated. Valuation, which is so important, is also given.
Valuation is also given. Market and government valuation, both the valuations are included in that.
Report. So we have a huge department, and we do a lot of. So that is the first thing. So no matter it's been 25 years or 40 years or whatever, if your property is here and you have a right in the property, we'll help you retrieve your records, and we will tell you exactly what is the situation with your property.
Next question is that that my sister has inherited a small portion of property along with me. She is a US citizen. Earlier she was in India. How can she save tax on sale of such property, and as the other sister is having the power of attorney to sell the property?
So whether you have a small property, if you have inherited a property in India, gift the gift tax is applicable. There is no way that you can save that tax. Whatever is your situation, a proper calculation is done by chartered accountants, and they will tell you what kind of tax is applicable on it, how much is applicable on it, and if you have to take that money back and repatriate it to the country where you are staying, you have to pay that tax. Otherwise that money cannot, the bank will not be releasing without those documents. Now do you have to pay additional tax? बहुत सारे लोग ये पूछते हैं. For that I'll tell you that the tax that you've paid in India, we will give you a full document saying how much you've paid in India, and whatever is the residual, in case the tax in the US is more or in the country you're staying is more, then the residual tax you have to consult a tax attorney there and pay that tax to make it completely valid, the money completely valid, the transaction completely valid in your resident country. But we are not qualified to give you advice on the tax and how much it is abroad. Indian tax, once we take up a real estate job, so any property that is bought or sold through us, we give end-to-end services, which means that we find the buyer, which is completely guaranteed by us. We will do all your transaction, calculate all your taxes, pay your taxes, make sure that the entire funds are repatriated back absolutely legally in your domestic account in the country where you stay. Now that is the complete end-to-end total turnkey services that we take for real estate. Whatever is applicable in India, we take care, but whatever is not applicable in India, you will have to hire another attorney or a lawyer or a professional chartered accountant in that country. So that is about tax. Yeah.
Ma'am, I think this is the last question for the day probably. The person is residing in Australia and the person has a case going on in his property in Punjab. One unknown person is claiming adverse possession on the property, and he has also got a buyer. So he wants to sell the property while the litigation is going on.
Nikita, this is adverse possession, which I suggest is very huge topic. We will take it the next time, right? Because I don't want to rush through this. And in my next thing, we will park it now for adverse possession, because there's so much confusion on this because of a new judgment that has come, and people have started panicking. Anybody in their property for more than 12 years will take over the possession. No, it's not like that. I have done videos before, but here also I would like to explain again, because absolute continuous questions on adverse possession come. So I would want to explain this threadbare. Right now, I think we should. There are a few other very important topics that we wish to cover, but I'm getting a signal from my team that we are under a time constraint. But next time, in the span of 30 minutes, we would be taking up daughters' rights, which is very important topic. There is a brand new judgment that has come, which is giving equal rights to daughters now, and all the confusions that were happening earlier and appeals were being filed have also been finally settled by the Honorable Supreme Court. So broadly, the daughters' rights have been upheld absolutely as an equal to the male counterparts and the male legal heirs. That is one thing we would like to go into the next time. Adverse possession we would like to go into the next time, and a few other topics which we are not able to cover up, we would like to go.
And also the rest of the queries which we might have just left, and you can just send your queries at our email ID, that is query@nrilegalservices.com. So from there on we can just take it over and get back to you.
Whether we have these live sessions or not, I am absolutely confirming that our teams are very prompt in answering all your inquiries and taking it up. We take every inquiry very seriously. If it is just information, we give them information in writing, or we do these live sessions, and we are planning to do a whole lot more because we are flooded with inquiries. But if in case it's a legal situation which is current and really relevant and you need help, our teams of legal experts immediately swing into action. And so you can feel free to write to us about any situation that you might have. Our website is completely comprehensive on all the services that we provide. Currently we are providing, and a lot of information on our website is there regarding those services. Still, if you have any inquiries, anybody from the team will pick it up and be happy to answer all your inquiries. So Nikita, you want to say something to the viewers?
I think we'll just wrap it up for now, but then of course whatever queries you have and whatever concerns were there, most of them we have covered, and then pretty much there are certain discrepancies which still clients do have. We'll keep on taking up on a regular basis whenever those are being sent to us.
We are planning to do this on a monthly basis. Yeah. So I'm being told that this is going to be once a month session. So I'm going to be here again answering all those inquiries. Meanwhile, please keep sending us all the inquiries, all the questions. We are looking at it, and we would be taking them up, and we would be responding to you very promptly. Thank you so much from me and my team at NRI Legal Services.